Hey Yankees fans, let's get real for a minute because the situation with this bullpen is something we cannot ignore anymore. The team came into this stretch having won 7 out of their last 12 games, which is solid, especially considering the importance of those matchups. You always hope for a little more, maybe 8 out of 12, but 7-5 is respectable. The players did their part in that segment, and hats off to them for managing that. But as soon as the focus shifts to the bullpen, everything gets complicated. It has been absolutely exposed, and it's hard to sugarcoat it. Against the Tigers, it faltered. Against the Twins, Game 1 was a nightmare. And this is not just a small, rough patch. This is a sustained issue that has been affecting the team's ability to close out games and carry momentum into the postseason. Take Luke Weaver, for instance. Once, he was considered one of the more reliable arms in the bullpen, someone you could count on to navigate tough situations. But over his last 11 appearances, he's been anything but dependable. His earned run average has ballooned to 12.00, which is obviously alarming. Narrowing it down to his last 6 appearances, that number skyrockets to 24.55. And the last 3 outings? 8 earned runs in just 1 1/3 innings. Those are numbers that make fans and analysts alike wince. Over 6 games, he's pitched 3 2/3 innings and allowed 10 earned runs. Stretch it to the last 11 games, and it's 12 earned runs in 9 innings pitched. That's not just poor performance. It's a bullpen liability at its worst. And the postseason won't wait for him to find his rhythm. If the Yankees hope to make a deep run, he has to step up, and he has to do it now. Then there's Camilo Doval. Doval has been a mess since joining the Yankees. Over his last 3 appearances, spanning 2 2/3 innings, he's given up 3 earned runs. Over his last 5 appearances, in 4 innings pitched, he's allowed 4 earned runs. Expanding the window to 10 appearances, he's given up 5 earned runs in 8 2/3 innings. It's a tough pill to swallow because this kid has electric stuff. He had a solid track record with the San Francisco Giants, and the hope was that he would be a significant contributor here. Instead, he's been a part of the problem rather than the solution. The Yankees acquired him at the trade deadline with the intention of strengthening the bullpen, and right now, that plan is not yielding results. Mark Leiter Jr. hasn't exactly been a savior either. In his last 1 1/3 innings pitched, he's allowed 5 earned runs. You start adding up these performances, and it paints a worrying picture. Tim Hill, Devin Williams, Fernando Cruz, Paul Blackburn, Ryan Yarrow. Each of them has had moments of success, but also stretches where they've been hit hard or inconsistent. Devin Williams, for example, was decent in a short 2-inning stretch, but over 4 appearances, 3 2/3 innings, he gave up 4 earned runs. Fernando Cruz missed a lot of time due to injury, and when he returned, he allowed 7 earned runs in 2 innings. These inconsistencies aren't just statistical anomalies. They are red flags when thinking about high-pressure playoff situations. The Yankees did try to address the bullpen at the trade deadline, but the moves didn't pan out as expected. Jake Bird was acquired with much fanfare, touted for having nasty stuff, but his results haven't matched the hype. He struggled with the Rockies and has continued to struggle in AAA with Scranton, posting a 7.30 earned run average. What was supposed to be a solution became another question mark. And when you look at the bigger picture, the impact of a shaky bullpen in the playoffs cannot be overstated. A team can have a strong starting rotation, but if the relievers can't hold leads in the 7th and 8th innings, all that effort at the front end is wasted. Historically, strong bullpens translate directly into wins and championships. Look at the Yankees' past dynasties. When you have a dominant closer, a reliable set of relievers, it can carry a team to multiple World Series titles. That kind of stability in the late innings is priceless. Right now, the Yankees are facing a scenario where their bullpen is so inconsistent that it threatens to derail even a strong starting rotation. They need someone to step up and reliably get them through the 8th inning, someone who can bridge the gap to their closer without giving away leads. Without that, any postseason hopes are fragile at best. Being 5 games behind the Blue Jays complicates things further. Even if the Yankees manage to win a series, a single loss against a team like the Twins or falling behind in the standings pushes them further from the division title. that forces them to focus on the wild card. And even there, the bullpen remains a glaring concern. Facing teams like Boston in a first-round matchup would be tough, even if they handled them well in the most recent series. Postseason baseball magnifies every flaw, and right now, the Yankees' late-game pitching is a vulnerability that cannot be ignored. The problem isn't just that a few pitchers are struggling, it's systemic within the bullpen. The trade deadline acquisitions, the hope for contributors, none have consistently performed under pressure. Luke Weaver, Devin Williams, Camilo Doval, and even those who have had brief success like Paul Blackburn or Ryan Yero show how fragile this unit is. And the stakes are only going to increase. High-leverage situations in the playoffs demand flawless execution, and right now, this bullpen cannot provide that. The team's starting rotation can carry them deep into games, but without reliable arms behind them, any lead is at risk. That's why the focus on the bullpen is not just commentary. It's a prediction of what could determine the Yankees' postseason fate. Fans have seen glimpses of excellence from some of these relievers, but the inconsistency is brutal. Fernando Cruz had a great stretch, striking out 70 batters in 42 and 2/3 innings, but now he has a 4.00 ERA with the Yankees. Mark Leiter has similar strikeout numbers, but continues to give up runs at inopportune times. In high-stakes baseball, every mistake counts, and this bullpen has a habit of letting mistakes snowball. The postseason isn't forgiving, and the Yankees' window to tighten things up is closing fast. If they want any chance at advancing, these relievers need to rediscover the form that made them attractive acquisitions in the first place. The reality is stark. If the bullpen doesn't perform, it could cost the Yankees a shot at the World Series. They can have the best starting rotation in the league, but without dependable late-inning pitching, all that talent can go to waste. This isn't an exaggeration. This is the reality facing the team as they push toward the postseason. Every game, every inning, every pitch counts more than ever, and the current state of the bullpen is the biggest hurdle between the Yankees and their championship aspirations. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the fans know it. Now, looking at the bigger picture, it's clear that the Yankees' bullpen isn't just struggling. It's a ticking time bomb, and it could explode at the worst possible moment. The postseason doesn't wait for anyone to find their rhythm, and right now, the Yankees have more questions than answers in the late innings. Every high-leverage situation exposes weaknesses that have been festering all season. You can have the best starting rotation in baseball, but if the bullpen can't hold a lead, it all falls apart. This isn't theory, it's reality. Fans have seen it happen, game after game, and it's not going to get easier when the stakes are at their highest. The Yankees need someone, anyone, to step up and consistently deliver in these critical moments, or all of their efforts in the early innings could be wasted. Take Luke Weaver again. This is a guy who should be a key piece in the postseason puzzle, yet his recent performances tell a different story. When you have a reliever giving up 8 earned runs in 1 1/3 innings over his last 3 outings, it's impossible to rely on him in a playoff scenario. The margin for error is non-existent, and right now, Weaver is a liability rather than a solution. Camilo Doval is in the same boat. The hope was that his electric stuff would translate into dominant innings. But over 10 appearances with the Yankees, he's given up 5 earned runs in less than 9 innings pitched. That kind of production simply cannot carry a team through October. These are pitchers who were acquired or expected to stabilize the bullpen, yet the results have been inconsistent at best, disastrous at worst. And the clock is ticking. Then there's Mark Leiter Jr., who, despite his strikeout numbers, has struggled to prevent runs at crucial moments. Over his last 1 1/3 innings, he's allowed 5 earned runs, and while strikeouts are impressive in the playoffs, results matter more than potential. The Yankees' postseason success hinges on the ability to hold leads late in games, and at this point, the bullpen's inability to do that is the biggest obstacle in their path. Fernando Cruz has shown flashes of brilliance, particularly with his strikeout ability, but after returning from injury, he's allowed 7 earned runs in 2 innings. Devin Williams has had some clean appearances, but when put into high-leverage situations, he's faltered. This kind of inconsistency spreads anxiety through the team, and leaves the starters vulnerable. What's worrying is that the Yankees tried to fix the bullpen at the trade deadline, yet the moves haven't yielded the expected improvements. Jake Bird, who was acquired amid high expectations, has struggled in AAA after failing to deliver in New York. His difficulties carried over from the major league level, proving that sometimes talent and potential aren't enough. The team cannot afford to rely on a pitcher who hasn't proven he can handle pressure. This is postseason baseball we're talking about, where every mistake is magnified and every earned run can be the difference between advancing and going home early. Looking at the standings, the situation becomes even more urgent. Being 5 games behind the Blue Jays puts enormous pressure on the Yankees. They need near-perfect baseball just to remain in contention for the division title. One slip, one bad inning from a reliever, and they're pushed even further down the standings. That's why the focus on wild card scenarios is becoming more relevant. If the Yankees end up in the wild card, they will face opponents who can exploit every weakness, and right now, the bullpen is the soft underbelly of this team. Facing a strong lineup in a single elimination or best-of-3 format magnifies the importance of reliable relief pitching. Every single pitch could decide whether they advance or go home. Fans and analysts alike have been vocal about the bullpen struggles, and with good reason. Luke Weaver, Camilo Doval, and Mark Leiter Jr. represent the core of the relief corps, yet all three have shown inconsistency or outright poor results at critical times. Even relievers like Paul Blackburn, Ryan Yarrow, and Devin Williams have had streaks of ineffectiveness. High-leverage innings in the postseason demand a level of precision and consistency that simply hasn't been present. The team's ability to reach October with any hope of advancing deep into the playoffs is directly tied to these pitchers stepping up and performing at their peak. The irony is that this group has immense talent. Strikeouts are there. Electric stuff is there. But results matter, and right now, the results aren't matching the talent. It's a brutal reality for the Yankees, whose starting rotation has performed admirably and who have offensive weapons capable of producing runs. But without reliable arms to close out innings and maintain leads, the season could collapse in the blink of an eye. Historically, championship teams have strong bullpens that can shut down games in the late innings, and that's the benchmark the Yankees need to meet. Anything less, and the postseason becomes a precarious gamble. The truth is, the Yankees' chances of advancing depend on someone in the bullpen rediscovering their form, and fast. Luke Weaver needs to regain command and trust. Camilo Doval needs to translate his stuff into results. And Mark Leiter Jr. must find a way to limit damage in critical moments. Without this, the team is left exposed, relying on their starters to do more than they realistically can. Postseason baseball demands a collective effort from every pitcher, and right now, the collective effort is falling short. Fans have seen glimpses of potential, but potential doesn't win games. It's execution that matters. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In a move that has sent shockwave through the baseball world, whispers are swirling that Juan Soto could be making a sensational return to the New York Yankees. According to insiders close to the situation, the slugger's name has been quietly reappearing in front office discussions, sparking a frenzy among fans and analysts alike. While nothing is official yet, the mere possibility of Soto donning pinstripes again has created an electrifying buzz across social media and sports talk shows. Sources suggest that the Yankees are exploring a deal that would bring Soto back to the Bronx in a blockbuster arrangement, potentially reshaping the team's lineup in a dramatic way. The 25-year-old outfielder, known for his extraordinary hitting prowess and clutch performances, could provide the Yankees with the kind of offensive firepower that has eluded them in recent postseason runs. Speculation is that the front office sees Soto not just as a player, but as a potential cornerstone for the next era of Yankees baseball. Meanwhile, the reaction from fans has been nothing short of explosive. Hashtags predicting Soto's return have been trending, and forums are flooded with debates over how the Yankees might restructure their roster to accommodate such a star. Pundits are weighing in on the possible trade scenarios, discussing prospects and financial implications, while acknowledging that the deal, if it happens, will be one of the most talked about moves in recent memory. Despite the excitement, some voices of caution remain. Critics question whether the Yankees can realistically pull off the deal without compromising other areas of the team, while others point to Soto's current contract situation and the complexities of MLB trade logistics. Yet even with the uncertainties, the rumor alone is enough to reignite the imagination of a fan base always hungry for headline-grabbing signings. As the story unfolds, one thing is clear: the baseball world is watching. Whether Juan Soto will officially return to the Yankees or not, the mere suggestion has created a frenzy that feels almost historic. In New York, the anticipation is palpable, and if this deal comes to fruition, it could mark a defining moment for both the team and the young superstar, setting the stage for a summer full of speculation, excitement, and perhaps unforgettable baseball. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.